Hi, this is Professor Wormers, and today we're going to be talking about interviewing. You're going to find out through the LMS that you've got lots of resources for interviewing. I've tried to give you uh, a great variety of different questions that you might encounter when you're getting interviewed, as well as some different research articles for some of the questions that you should ask when you're being interviewed, as well as some of the things to maybe prepare for. So I created this template right here that we're going to go through today, and it's going to cover some of the major areas of this. But please look through those other resources that I gave you to give you some more ideas and some more questions that they might ask during an interview. So looking at this document, first off, do your research. Know who you're going to interview with. Is it the CEO? Know the chief nursing officer. Know the director that you're going to be interviewing with. Know the floor. If you are interviewing for a position on, say, the ICU, make sure that you know what kind of ICU is it. Is it a pulmonary? Is it neuro? Is it surgical? It looks really, really bad if you apply for a position and you don't even know where you're at or what are some of the main things along with that role. Same thing, look at the hospital mission or the organization mission that you are applying for. Make sure that it matches with yours. Make sure that it is something that would be congruent. Know some brief facts about the area that you're applying for. You want to be a good fit. It's hard. Sometimes you're just looking for any job, but ultimately that's not what you want. You really want to be selective. You want to find something with a mission and facts and make sure that that fits with what you want. Lastly, in this section, check your social media presence. One thing that I heard of that I thought was amazing was when some of the cheerleaders went down and they started at University of Nebraska, they had this little old lady who was a grandma, and she went through everybody's social media, and if it wasn't up to her standards, then they were kicked off the team. This might be hearsay, but I think you should go through your social media presence weeks before or even prior to applying for a position and submitting the paperwork. It's really easy to look at somebody on their Facebook. If you've got pictures of you drinking or doing wild and crazy things, make sure all that stuff's locked up so people can't see it. The hard thing is that friends of friends of friends can share things or have access that other people might not have. So really make sure that you've got a good social media presence. Think about the perspective of the person that's employing you and what they would want to see. Now, before words are said, brand yourself. What's going to make you stick out differently? What's going to make you the one for that unit? What's going to give you an edge? So you have to brand yourself differently. I think the background at the University of Sioux Falls is a wonderful thing. We've got a wonderful reputation, and a lot of managers really appreciate that. However, what's going to make you different? What's going to make you stand out? Is it your personal experience? Is it the fact that you've had clinicals on this floor? Is it the fact that you've got a passion for this area? And I would hope that whatever area you're applying for, you've got a passion for. But how are you going to brand yourself? How are you going to make yourself stick out a little bit? Look nice, but you don't want to look too nice. You know, this is like guys, you don't want to come in with top hat, cane, tails, and a full tux. That's not what nursing is about. So, ladies, it's the same way. If you're all glammed up, too glitzy, too fancy, they're going to be afraid that you might not be able to do the work that a nurse has to do. The next thing on the list, no gum. This might seem kind of simple. It annoys some people to no end. So just don't have gum. A few Tic Tacs, breath mint, something like that, because you want to have good breath when you're talking to somebody else, of course. But chomping on some gum can be very disruptive, and some people find that very unprofessional. Also, how did you treat people on the way in? I've met some people that they talk to their secretary about their first contact. And how did you prepare yourself? And how did you present yourself with this? Were you nice to them? Were you on your phone? Were you being pleasant? Or, were you mean to them? Were you abrupt? Were you short? A funny one that I heard was somebody was pulling in, they're a little late for their job interview, and they were like driving like crazy through the parking lot and swooped in front of somebody else that was waiting in line to get a parking spot. Lo and behold, the person that they swooped in front of and hugely cut off was the person that was doing the interview. And so it looked really bad, and honestly, they did not get the position. So think about how you treat people on the way in. Be smiling. It really makes a huge difference. Have a nice greeting, professional greeting. Have a good handshake. Handshakes going to vary with different cultures and different professionals. Do your best to match whatever they do. If they give you a weaker handshake, don't crush their hands. If they give you a strong handshake, be firm, but you don't want to, get into a battle between who's got the stronger handshake. With your phone, I think it's a decent idea to have it in, because oftentimes that's where our schedule is. If we're looking to make new follow-up contacts or meetings or those kind of things, it's nice to have that with you. So you got that, but make sure that ringer is off. Also, make sure that you've got a professional ringer. Make sure that your phone looks professional. You don't want like a song like Milkshake going off during an interview or something like that that could be perceived as being unprofessional. Yawning, be attentive. If you want to work on this unit, you've got to act like this is the best thing since sliced bread. You got to be very attentive. You got to want to be there. You got to have that energy for that unit. Even if you're not at 100% for that day, you're going to be. I've had some managers say that this person was almost falling asleep during an interview. And why would they hire them? Number one, that's not professional. Number two, they lacked any excitement or enthusiasm for that job. Eye contact, that's very similar to the handshake. With your eye contact, you want to look somebody in the eyes and you want to be professional about it, but you don't want to stare them down, and that can be very annoying as well. So every once in a while, make great eye contact, be professional, be confident, but don't stare people down. Look at your shoes. Make sure your shoes are clean when you're walking in. You don't want to have great big mud stains. I know it sounds silly, but the little things that I've heard about from people and managers and stuff like that. Make sure your hands are clean. Make sure your nails are kept short. What are those things that we look for in nursing? It's those same things. We want those nails cut short. We want, no big gaudy rings or anything like that. Kind of have it professional in the sense of what a nurse is. A lot of the new approaches for interviewing are using the START approach. And so basically what you're doing is the manager there or the director or whoever is interviewing you is going to ask that, so give me a situation or a task in which you had to confront somebody that was in a more powerful position than you. Let me know the actions that you took and what are the results that you were achieved off of this one. And so this is going in lots of different ways. Even if they don't ask you in this manner, it's still a very good and way to answer these questions. What did you do when you met some hardship or adversity? So you talk about the situation that was this hardship and adversity, what actions you took, and what were those results that you achieved. And I think even more so than that is if you have a situation maybe that you failed the first time. It sounds counterintuitive the first time. You want to be productive and stuff like that. But I think if you say that, this is my situation, my task, this is the actions that I took, it didn't work out so well the first time. This is the results. But what I did the second time was I took corrective action again and had these wonderful results here. And I think that's going to show that you follow up on things and that you stick with it. So topics of questions, these things can be all over the board. I've seen some units ask very direct questions about patient care, give you situations with 3 different patients and which one do you need to see first? Or what would you do in this situation? Or give you very directed things for that unit. I've seen very weird questions. So like what's your spirit animal? What color would you be? A lot of times when they're asking those weird ones, it's just to see how you react to stress, because it's a weird situation. So basically take a deep breath. Oftentimes you can reply back with the question. So, take a deep breath. If I was a color, the color that I would be yellow. It is bright, it is vibrant, it is warm, and that reflects me. Now, that's maybe not true for myself. I personally love black as my favorite color, but I would say something that is along those lines. And often with these weird questions, there's no yes or no answer on this one. If they ask you, if you were a dog, what dog would you be? They can't say, no, you would not be a Labrador. but what they're looking for is those things and those traits that you'd answer for towards that job. So like I said, if you're going to say, yes, I'd be a Labrador or something along those lines, it's because I'm warm, I'm friendly, I want to be helpful. Now, if you say, I'd be a pit bull because pit bulls bite people and stuff like that, and I just love attacking, they might have issues with that. So that's really what they're going with there, is to see how you handle stress and make sure that those traits that are within you line up with that job. So, and for all you pit bull lovers out there, I've met some sweet pit bulls, so it's nothing against pit bulls. All right, questions to ask the interview. This is a hard one, because oftentimes at the end of an interview, they want to know if you have any questions. Look at some of these, and this is a great thing, because if you are asking questions at the end of the interview, it shows that you're alert, that you're attentive, that you've actually thought about this position instead of, well, this is the first callback that I've gotten. So you can see some of these great ideas here. What do you like about this job? What's the best thing? What's the most challenging things? These questions, generally speaking, are not, what's my pay? What's my vacation? What's my benefit? A lot of jobs right now are hiring those people that will fit the position. And the best fit is going to be something in which, yes, they want an employee that's going to be outstanding and stellar on the floor, but they also know that it's a relationship. And what's this company going to give back to you? It's got to be more than money and vacation hours. What are you going to gain from this particular thing? So you can ask about those kind of things. After the interview, so a few key things that I put here, make yourself some notes. So after the interview, go out to your car, scribble down some notes. What are some of the key things that you liked about this, didn't like about this? Who did you interview with? And those kind of things. Also, with that, send a thank you card. I know it sounds weird. It sounds outdated. Nobody writes letters anymore, but it will make you stand out. It really will. And people love to get handwritten cards and letters and stuff like that. And quite honestly, it might make a difference. They will see that you go that extra mile, have a personal touch, and I've heard of people get hired because of that. So taking the offer, honestly, I don't believe in taking the offer on that first day when it's offered to you. Think about it. Just say, okay, I need 2 days or 3 days to think about this offer. I appreciate it. I just want to do this kind of thing. So look at that offer as a whole. It's not just the wages, but look at the benefits. Look at the retirement. Look at vacation. Look at anything else that you have to pay out for. Also look at advancement. Where is this going to lead you? Is this a one and done and it's kind of a set position? And is that what you want? Are you looking to go up the ranks? Are you looking to transfer into a different unit? Look at how this is going to play out with what your end game is. I always say negotiate. Now, if some of you guys are starting out as new nurses in this role, in this position, your ability to negotiate is going to be kind of zilch in the Sioux Falls area as a new nurse. It's really pretty tightly locked, and they'll just say, this is what we offer new nurses. If you've got things such as experience or other things that set you apart, you might have small negotiation, but probably not. You can play offers against one another. Just be aware that they might not like that, of course. But if you're like, well, I've got a job at this place. I really want to work for you guys. How can you make me, what's the incentive to work at this one versus this other place? And then other perks and such like that would be to look at time off. So, a lot of questions I get, especially from newer grads or new people, is what happens if I want this job, accept this job, but then another job comes along that I want more? My understanding when talking to different managers and stuff like that is if they haven't invested in you yet, so you haven't started on the floor, you haven't done any training, they haven't put a lot of paperwork into you, it's all right to switch if you're open and honest about it. Now, not everybody's going to feel that way. I do know a nurse right now who did that, and he got blacklisted into a program. This manager felt like she made special accommodations for him, and in doing so was really upset that he canceled. And that might happen. But generally with the managers I've talked to, they're pretty understanding unless they put money into you. training for a nurse, it's going to be $80,000 in some areas. And for you to work there and then just come off orientation and then quit, that's a huge amount of money that they've got wrapped up into you, as well as in time and those kind of things. So generally, it's best if you stay there about a year after you get hired, and that's just kind of politeness. Not a hard and fast rule, but just be aware that they are putting a lot into you when you start that new role. So, well, this is just kind of my overview of this. By all means, if you have questions on this, you can ask me. But these are some of the things that I've gleaned from lots of different articles, personal experience from other students. So by all means, feel free to talk to me about any questions that you have, and then use those resources to help prep you for any positions that you might have. Or if you're in management, then feel free to use any of those questions. I don't have copyrights on them. So, all right. Have a great day. Bye.